Now, economists are sounding the alarm on rising mortgage rates, predicting that they could reach 8% if the Federal Reserve keeps hiking interest rates. Right now, the 30-year fixed mortgage rate is at its highest level in 22 years. Charles Payne is the host of Making Money on Fox Business. I want to put up the Freddie Mac graph of where mortgage interest rates have gone since Joe Biden took office. And other than a slight dip earlier this year, look at that. It's a steady race to the top for both the 30-year and the 15-year firm. If it hits 8% with another Fed rate hike, Charles, is that a psychological barrier that really could slow things down in terms of home sales and new home construction?
It's a psychological and a monetary barrier. So, I mean, this is, John, I think the great thing about that chart is how fast it went up. Because we had inflation come, a 40-year inflation that we hadn't seen in a generation from all of the money that was poured into this economy, and I argue a lot of it was unnecessary. We're dealing with the consequences of that. Yeah, the Federal Reserve, we just saw the minutes yesterday from their last meeting. Looks like they're going to continue to raise rates. We don't know how many more times, but it's not unreasonable that 8% would be the key. Now, here's what's so unique about this. Because rates went up so quickly, you have a lot of folks who own homes and they're paying mortgages at 3% or less. So now you're talking about mortgages at 8%. Well, it's good if you own have a house and you're paying 2% and you bought a $500,000 house and you love it, but you can't move. You can't move. Even if you make a profit, you can't move because your ensuing mortgage would be so much, it would erase all of the gains. How does this impact the economy? Obviously, the housing market is critical to the economy. People can't move for new jobs. And then there's the psychological aspect of this you're talking about. Right now, at this very moment, Goldman Sachs says housing affordability is the worst it's ever been in this country. That hurts new housing, house developments. People aren't going to get married. There's no starter homes out there. So the overall impact of this, directly and indirectly, it's mind-boggling, and it's getting worse every day.
Yeah, I'll tell you, though, real estate prices are still off the charts in so many places. Charles, I was thinking about you and your beloved Dodge Ram T-Rex truck as we took a look at gas prices. Here's where we are today. $3.87 a gallon is the national average. A week ago, it was $3.82. A month ago, it was $3.56. That's putting a big crimp in people's budgets, Charles.
It really, really is. This is so amazing, and it should not be happening at this time, but it is. And you know what? It might get worse. We dodged a few bullets last year. There was a very warm winter in Europe. China's economy did not bounce back to the degree we thought it would. But China probably going to have to do a major stimulus plan. That will increase the demand for crude oil. And it could be a harsh winter. Every now and then we get those. So this might just be the very beginning. Also, we're entering hurricane season here in America. Well, obviously, we pray and hope that it's a mild one. But all of those things conspire to keep pushing gasoline prices higher and higher.
Yeah, and we think that $3.87, approaching $4 a gallon, is a high price to pay for gasoline. But take a look at this. I put together, according to AAA, the highest gas prices in the nation. California, as usual, leads the nation, $5.18 a gallon, followed by Washington at $5.03, Oregon at $4.69, Nevada at $4.42, Utah at $4.23. When gas prices got this high, in the early days of the Biden administration, we heard people screaming about it. We don't hear that same cacophony at this point, but I assume that if this keeps heading north, we soon will.
You will. Speaking of the Dodge Ram, I think I went to the gas station once last year, $150 to fill it up. I know I posted it online and people lost their mind. So it was when that whole hashtag Thanks Joe was going around. We get above $4, you're going to see a whole lot of Thanks Joe hashtags on social media.
Yeah, and here's in terms of whether or not we hit $4 nationwide and when this might all be over. Wall Street Journal says for real relief, Americans will likely have to wait until the end of 2024. By that time, the Energy Information Administration estimates gas prices will drop to roughly $3.09 a gallon, a near 50% price break from today's prices. But we're going to go through an election before that, so we'll see how it works out.
The correlation between high gas prices and getting elected, we know there are very few things that affect people more getting in that voter's box than high gas prices and other inflationary ills. But for some reason, high gas prices really, really, really anger voters.
All right, and we'll start up a GoFundMe page for you and your T-Rex. Charles, thanks.
Thank you. I
Good to see you.
appreciate it.
All right, see you soon. Jackie?
Tough out there. And even more happy financial news. Parents beware, because back-to-school shopping is expected to cost you more. The latest report on consumer prices shows that school supplies and clothing are more expensive compared to last year as Americans continue to feel the pain of inflation. FBN's Lydia Hu is standing by. And Lydia, how much can families expect to be spending on back-to-school shopping this year?
Hey there, Jackie. Quite a bit. Families with kids in elementary school through high school can expect to spend an average of $890 this year on back-to-school items. Jackie, that's a new record from the National Retail Federation. It's $25 higher than it was last year. All in, Americans expected to spend an unprecedented $41.5 billion this year. Last year, it was $39.6 billion. That higher spending driven by an increase in demand for electronics and also higher prices. Check this out. Government data shows prices for girls' and boys' clothing up, stationery up. And I've got my back-to-school backpack all packed up here, ready to go for my daughter. We know that tracking by an e-commerce company, Pattern, is showing that prices for basics, things like even mechanical pencils here, higher in price by 16%. Composition books higher in price by 9%. And it doesn't end. Index cards, notebooks, folders, all of this is more expensive. But while people are spending more this year, they're also hunting for more bargains. The National Retail Federation says 45% of shoppers, they're going to the discount stores this year. That's up from just 40% last year. It means people are really working to stretch the dollar. Jackie, back to you.
Well, at that amount of money, $800 plus, yeah, you better find a discount store somewhere. All right,
That's
Lydia
right.
Hu, thank you so much.
You got
Appreciate
it.
it.